Hi, I'm Dan and welcome to Polar Currency. Over the past year, I've had the incredible opportunity to view and document some very high-end and rare banknotes. This is the first video of a new video series, Rare Note Spotlight, where I'm showcasing some very scarce and, for that matter, expensive banknotes. This is an incredibly ironic thing for me because my personal collection is, just the opposite. So, but it's just not every day that you get to hold an historic, scarce, high value, or high grade banknote. I also think that it's important to show multiple aspects of collecting paper currency. It's just not the attainable notes that you can get, but you know what? The high end collectors are part of the collecting community, and they help turn the wheel. And whether or not I can purchase a banknote or not, certainly I can appreciate these rare notes. With the Rare Note Spotlight video series, I'll normally highlight a single note and, of course, provide history and information about that banknote. I'll be starting with what I have right now, which is almost 100 notes, and go in order of denomination chronologically. I'm sure there'll be some additions that won't be in order, but I can live with that. I want to sincerely thank the owners of these banknotes for sharing their collections, and know this: it has been a privilege and an honor for me to actually hold these notes in my hand, let alone share them with our community. The first note is the $1 1776 Continental or American Revolution currency. I've never really researched Continentals, so this video I'm going to go deeper than I normally would for the Rare Note Spotlight series. Continental currency played a crucial role in financing the American Revolution. As the need for funds surged to support the war effort against Britain, the Second Continental Congress authorized the first federally issued currency of any kind. Paper money was first on May 10, 1775. A coin wouldn't be authorized until 1787, a full 12 years later, with the Fugio cent, which used symbols designed by Benjamin Franklin taken from some Continental banknotes for the front and obverse of the coin. But unlike coins, Continentals were not backed by physical commodities like gold or silver. Continental notes were a form of fiat currency, meaning they were not backed by a tangible asset, but rather by the trust, faith, and promise of a new country. There were 11 issues with different resolution dates and a large variety of denominations from 1775 to 1779. Continentals are often put together with colonial notes, but they are different types of paper currency, just like a Federal Reserve note is different than a silver certificate. Colonials were issued from 1690 all the way up to the adoption of the Constitution in 1789, and they were issued by all of the original 13 colonies and Vermont, and they are not considered federal currency. Continental banknotes were intended to be used to cover military expenses, support various revolutionary activities, but mostly pay the soldiers. However, their use was marked by significant challenges. Due to overprinting and counterfeiting, the value of the currency rapidly depreciated, leading to the phrase, "not worth a Continental," which highlighted the already growing uncertainty about the currency's viability. All but one $20 note were printed on heavy ragstock type paper that kinda has the feel of thin cardboard. The paper is embedded with mica flakes as an anti-counterfeiting measure. All the Continental notes were printed by Hall & Sellers of Philadelphia. The company was originally owned by Benjamin Franklin, which he started in 1728 when he was 22 years old. In 1748, Franklin took on partner David Hall, who then took on the daily operations of the business. In 1766, Franklin sold outright to David Hall and William Sellers, a new partner. Hall died in 1772 and left the company to his sons and William Sellers. And finally, we get to the note. This is a $1 Continental dated February 17, 1776, Friedberg number CC23, and it's graded 67 ppq by PCGS Banknote. It's amazing to see this note in this condition. It's like it was just printed almost 250 years ago. $4 million of Continentals were authorized, of which $1 million were fractional. The financial obligation reads, "This bill entitles the bearer to receive 1 Spanish mill dollar or the value thereof in gold or silver." Well, that never happened. After the war, the government allowed for the exchange of Continental dollars for Treasury bonds, but at a pathetic 1% rate, rendering them almost worthless. I thought it would be a bit interesting to see my November 29, 1775 $2 Continental that's only graded Choice Fine 15 to really see the differences between the grades. There's still a lot of detail left and some color in the signature, but it has plenty of circulation, but that's what makes it so cool. Whose wallet was it in? What did it pay for? What did it buy? Okay, back to the good stuff. According to multiple sources, the signatures are of William Coates in red on top. This guy is a ghost. I mean, he's nowhere. I scoured the Google machine and could not find one thing on the man. The second signer is recorded as John Williams, who's listed by some sources, Stacks and Bowers and Wikipedia, as a member of the Second Continental Congress, which makes sense if he was the signer of the banknote. Historical research sidebar. Now here's where history gets hard to determine. Remember the date on that note? February 17, 1776. Two sources list John Williams, and both with the same birth and death dates, by the way, that he enlisted to serve 2 years as a lieutenant colonel in the North Carolina militia beginning in 1775. They also state he fought at the Battle of Moores Creek Bridge in North Carolina, just outside of Wilmington, February 27, 1776. Here's the question. Could Williams get from serving in the Second Continental Congress and signing a bunch of banknotes in Philadelphia on February 17th to fighting in a battle just outside of the Wilmington, North Carolina area in just 10 days? Well, it's 550 miles by land, which would take at least 2 weeks given the road conditions at the time, and even worse, it was winter. If he did leave, it was probably by ship, which is 450 nautical miles and would have taken at least 2 days, but that's at least plausible. Here's the What's Hard to Determine. An article in the Society of Paper Money Collectors Paper Money publication, May-June 1976, lists no military service in the brief biography which they provide, which is odd because, in my opinion, I think they would. Making things more confusing is that both Wikipedia and the Constitutional Walking Tour website, which is actually a legit thing, states that Williams didn't become a Continental Congress member until 1778. So why was he signing these notes in the first place when he was serving in the North Carolina militia in 1776? Is that his signature on the note? I really couldn't tell you, but I do have my doubts. End of sidebar and back to the banknote. The front of the note has an illustration of what is described as a bowl placed on top of an acanthus plant, which is a symbol of immortality and resurrection. It's encircled with the Latin inscription Depressa Resurgit, which translates to depressed rises. The top and bottom borders read the United Colonies, $1. The term United States wouldn't be used until 1777. The left-right borders state continental currency, $1 again, and both borders use the same old English decorative style print. I apologize for not having video of the reverse, but I either forgot to shoot it or lost the video. I'm just getting old now, so a picture is going to have to work. The center image is a group of actual leaves that was molded and then engraved and used as an anti-counterfeiting tool invented by Ben Franklin, which he called nature printing. The printer name, as you know, Hall and Sellers of Philadelphia, along with the date, complete the interior of the note. The border is comprised of 8 unique symbols or patterns that are repeated. These are highly detailed for the printing technology available at the time. The notes were printed with a combination of copper engraved plates, hand typeset, similar to what were used for printing newspapers at the time, and the molds used for the leaves. According to past auction archive results from Heritage Auctions and Stacks Bowers, between the two of them, they have auctioned a total of 35 Continental notes graded 67 or higher for all 82 Friedberg numbers that make up Continental notes. This note is the highest graded $1 denomination of the 35 notes. Only 6 Continental notes have graded higher, all of them 68. The green sheet has a list value of $12,000, and remember that's wholesale pricing, so a fair retail price would be about $15,000. Well, thank you for joining me, and I hope you enjoyed the first installment of Rare Notes Spotlight. I'm sure you can agree that the February 17th, 1776 $1 Continental has much more value than just a dollar amount. It's a piece of history and a small part of making our country. I'm sure there are collectors out there watching that don't believe in a currency that's only backed by faith and hope. But if it wasn't for fiat currency and faith and hope in our country, our name just might be something like British North America, and things might look a bit different. As always, I appreciate your time, and if you like what you see, please hit the thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel, and feel free to leave a comment. We'll see you in a few weeks, and thanks for checking in.